Check out that bad boy.
What up YouTube, Nathan Heightz here. So today I woke up and I needed a little extra motivation, right? Didn't feel like doing anything. It's like my last finals are tomorrow. I gotta study for them. I gotta study these languages to keep up with my goals. I gotta make some YouTube videos, and man, sometimes it just gets overwhelming, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, when in times like these where I feel like a little out of my mojo, what I do is I listen to a certain ebook which is very important for me. It's called As a Man Thinketh, and I suggest you guys go and check it out, right? In review, this book basically talks about how everything you are in life is the sum of your thoughts, right? Everything you become, everything you have is the sum of your thoughts. Sorry, as you can see, I am a little out of it. So basically what this means is that any situation you're in, although you did not directly select it or choose it, you indirectly affected various other situations before this situation which led to this situation, right? So the important thing to know is that if you're the one solely responsible for where you are in life, that means you can fix this, right? If you take all responsibility and you don't put any of this responsibility on anybody else, then that means you're in control of it, right? So anyways, I listened to this ebook and it got me a little amped up again. I do realize that I have a lot of studying to do tonight for tomorrow's last two finals actually. One in Spanish conversation, which I should do fine in. Maybe I have to make a PowerPoint or something, and the other is in an astronomy class, which I should also do fine. Just have to memorize some stuff. But I'm still going to study today. Anyways, for today's video, I suggest we talk about motivation. Let me take a seat. So when it comes to staying motivated to learn a language, it all comes down to your reasons for actually choosing to study and learn this language, right? Like for me to learn Spanish, it was very easy because I have a girlfriend who speaks Spanish now, fiance. Her entire family speaks Spanish. They do not speak English, so I wanted to communicate with them, you know, and show them how cool I am. And I also have family in Mexico who don't speak English. I have a great grandma who sends me presents every Christmas and sometimes on birthdays. And we've never had a real conversation in my entire life, right? Even though I've known her and visited her plenty of times. So me studying Spanish was a no-brainer. There's so many people around my area that speak Spanish. Sometimes I think there's more Spanish speakers than English speakers, right? So it was very easy and very motivating to learn this language. You know, last Mother's Day, not the one that just passed but the one before, I went to Mexico and I was actually able to talk to her for the first time in my life. Good thing I did, and it all worked out right on time, because now this year she's not doing so well and she's pretty much on her deathbed, unfortunately. So it was a good thing that I studied Spanish when I did, right? So it all comes down to the reasons for which you're studying this language. If you're studying a language for superficial reasons, chances are you're not going to continue studying it, right? You really need a deep motivation. Living in the country is a deep motivation because you're living there, right? You want to communicate. You don't want to get ripped off. You don't want to be led astray. You want to make sure that you're safe. So if you're living in the country, that's a huge motivation, okay? But for example, I was studying German for a little while, and I chose to study this language because I'm half German, right? My white side of the family is all German. Unfortunately, they came here, I don't know, almost 100 years ago to the United States, and nobody speaks German anymore. My great-grandma, who passed away when I was like in middle school, she spoke German, right? But she never spoke it around the house, and honestly, a lot of the kids never spoke German because after World War II, Germans were extremely, they did not feel right speaking German here in the United States, and its association with, because of its association with Nazism and all of that. So my uncle's aunts, my great uncle's great aunts never learned German, right? My grandparent, my grandma, she never learned German, just my great grandma. So when I started studying German, I wanted to connect with my roots. Seeing as there were 3 gender cases, it really deterred me, especially after learning Spanish and having to learn with dealing with 2 gender cases. Then on top of that, nobody here speaks German. I mean, if you think about it, the only way I'd be able to speak German is if I found people online or actually traveled to the country, and to me that was extremely demotivating. So because of that, I stopped studying German. I just did not have the strength to go on, right? So now with Tagalog, I feel extremely motivated to learn Tagalog. Why? because Tagalog is the fourth most spoken language here in Los Angeles, behind, of course, behind English, then Spanish, then Mandarin Chinese, and then Tagalog, right? So it's extremely motivating. There's people everywhere that speak Tagalog. There's tons of Filipinos. There are restaurants. There's even a Filipino town in Los Angeles, right? So, not to mention, in case of retirement and travel, the Philippines is a beautiful place, especially the beaches, as far as what I've seen, and it's extremely cheap, right? It's like $300 to $500 a month for like a nice little house, right? To rent a house, that's pretty good, especially if you have a check coming in online, or just making those US dollars, right? So it's extremely motivating. So you guys, when you want to start learning a language, think about your goals. Set realistic goals, okay? Because if you want to be completely fluent in a language where no one speaks in your area, it's going to be extremely tough, and you're going to have some real reasons for learning it, like maybe a family member that you really want to speak with, or something of that nature, right? Like maybe your grandma's on her deathbed and you want to speak with her before she passed away. That's a good reason. But if you're trying to learn a language where nobody speaks it, the chances of you ever reaching fluency in that language are extremely low, right? Some say that the biggest motivator is life or death, living in the area, right? Either being subject to, criticism and, being taken advantage of and things of that nature. Racism in your area will make you want to learn the local language. These are just things to think about, guys. Don't let this deter you, but just keep this in mind. When you do not feel motivated to learn a language, there's only one or two things you can do, right? Because the way I see it is, if you're not moving forward, you're moving back. There's no such thing as standing still, right? So if you don't feel motivated and you feel like I don't feel like studying today, chances are you're not going to be able to learn that language to fluency. So you either got to get your head in the game, change your plane of thought, and you got to just get yourself motivated, or you're going to quit, and you might as well stop wasting your time on something that you're going to quit eventually, right? Don't get me wrong, you can always pick it back up, but those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and we'll talk again soon. Let me get to this studying, man. I gotta get A's on these finals. Almost there. Peace, guys.